The role of corporations, we were talking about it there in climate change, but now we can see it, the role of corporate America as it piles the pressure on Republican lawmakers in the wake of Wednesday's insurrection. Major Wall Street banks are now suspending political contributions. Goldman, Morgan and Citi have halted donations altogether. Morgan Stanley is more targeted, pulling support for lawmakers who voted not to certify the presidential election. Meanwhile, the PGA says it will no longer hold its championship at Trump's Bedminster Golf Club next year, citing potential damage to their brand. The outspoken ice cream brand Ben & Jerry's says it's time to give Donald Trump the cold shoulder, figuratively and literally. Their statement on Thursday read in part, "How we respond to the events of yesterday will determine which America we will be. Resign, impeach, 25th Amendment, not one more day." Ben & Jerry's CEO, Matthew McCarthy, is with me. The interesting thing is, I mean, and this is not in the case of Ben & Jerry's, because you've had a lifelong commitment to putting your social policies where your economic policies are. But the number of companies that have suddenly found morality, that have suddenly decided, I mean, it's not hypocritical, it's just sort of rather seedy.
Thanks, Richard, for having me. I think it's probably important to call out that all businesses express their voices and their values. Often over time, they do that behind the scenes through donations or those types of things. I think all businesses are made of people, serving people, and all people have values. And I think it's important to be explicit about your values. Not everybody's going to like them, but you have to put them out there. And it is unfortunate that sometimes it takes violence and the loss of life for some businesses to actually step forward and say, this is what we believe in. But frankly, I'd rather that than businesses not put their voices out there.
So what should happen here? That old phrase, that it's never the wrong time to do the right thing. What do you think should happen? 25th Amendment, highly unlikely, very complicated, it won't happen. Impeachment, even though it's questionable whether you can have an impeachment trial after he's left office.
Well, I'm not an expert on these topics. I'm not going to pretend to be, but I will say that as a leader of a business, one of the things that's most important is stability, confidence, safety. We have a very unsafe situation in the United States right now, a pandemic that has gone through the roof. It is killing more people now than it was a month ago. And so as a business owner, it's my responsibility to take care of our people and also to take care of our consumers. So what I'm so much looking forward to is for us to move forward, for a new administration to come in and to start creating some of the circumstances that actually help business like ours thrive.
Right, but then what do we learn from the last 4 years? If it is not to have been, I mean, on this program, we've realized during the Trump years that CEOs are the new moral barometers to a large extent because they are the closest to the stakeholder economy. If that is right, what have we learned?
I don't listen. I don't know that CEOs should be held in that type of level of the barometer of morality. What I can say is that I think we've learned that the confluence of running a business, taking care of your staff, taking care of the people that you serve are inseparable from the communities that businesses are part of. I think Jerry and Ben, when they founded this business 42 years ago, understood that business was one of, if not the most powerful force in society, and it must be part of addressing the stuff that we're facing in our communities. And sometimes people ask me, they say, well, aren't you afraid of alienating consumers or business? Maybe they should just stay out of these topics. I frankly think that's really ridiculous. We are part of the fabric of our communities. We employ people. We create economic opportunity. We should be part of all of the situations. That doesn't mean that everybody's going to agree, and that's perfectly fine.
So I'm not sure whether you were already in the system and were able to hear much of the interview with Prince Charles on climate change. Do you agree with the Prince, though, when he says companies, business now is the key to getting the climate agenda really moved forward, because it's going to require cash, it's going to require impetus, and it's companies that are now where the future, which can give it a push forward?
Now, overall, yes, I did hear most of the interview. And I think that businesses have an absolute responsibility. They had it yesterday. They have it today. They're going to have it tomorrow. We are central as business people to consumerism and consumption, in partnership with the people that we serve, in partnership with the communities where our raw materials come from and the impacts that happen. I think what is interesting is that this idea of externalities are not really external. Even though I don't have to put something on the balance sheet, doesn't mean that I should not be responsible as a business owner, and particularly in collaboration with the people that are directly affected. So in short, I think the answer is yes. And business can move quite quickly. You know, we're in the consumer packaged goods business, and the minute our fans don't support us, we're in trouble. That's the way it is for business people. So we can actually move quite quickly relative to other organizations and other structures in society. And so I think it's an exciting time. And I think our consumers are demanding it more than ever. I think you're really, you turn a blind ear to your consumers on these issues, particularly intersections of the environment, safety and security, particularly in the pandemic, and racial equity. You do those things at your peril as a business owner, because consumers are now demanding that businesses make it clear where they stand on these issues.
Matthew, good to talk to you, and we won't get into the interesting debate over which of your flavours I like best. We would be here well until the top of the hour. Thank you. Good to have you, sir. Thank you.